We're continuing our Scream reviews leading up to Scream 6. So today we're going to be talking about Scream 2 and why I think this is a pretty fun sequel. Hey everybody, my name's Justin here. I try to watch everything that hits theaters and on streaming services. If you guys are like me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and click that bell notification for more up and coming content. When Scream was released, it was a huge success. It was a film that reinvented the genre, the slasher films, and brought a lot of people into the theaters, and they rushed production on Scream 2. It was released about a year after the first film. They started production for this film fairly quickly. When you have films that start to jump the gun and start production right away, the quality for them can be a little bit lower. That's not the case for Scream 2. I love how this film looks. It still maintains that 90s feel and the slasher genre with the discussion of horror films very well. And this is a fun sequel. Not the best Scream film, but there are some elements that really do work. And that's still continuing the story of Sidney Prescott, who is now in college. She's still dealing with the trauma from the first film, and a lot of the characters that are working alongside her are still feeling the effects of that first film. Gale Weathers and Dewey and Randy, those characters are returning, but they want to move forward, but it's still affecting them. And we have new characters in here as well, like Timothy Olyphant, Liev Schreiber, and Jerry O'Connell. Although those characters work well alongside the main four characters that return, I don't like them too much. With Jerry O'Connell singing to Sidney in the film, "Hey, I think I love you, so what am I so afraid of?" Timothy Olyphant trying to be the character that knows a lot about movies when we already have Jamie Kennedy in the film that loves film and knows a lot about it. And then we have Liev Schreiber in the film that I think works for this film because he is caught and weary, and he was wrongly accused of killing Sidney's mother. And so I like that continuation from that first film into the second film with that story. I think it works really well. And there's a lot of times where you think that he probably is going to be the killer. But the new characters' introductions aren't as strong as other characters that are introduced in the next Scream films, like Scream 4 and Scream 5. They have a lot of cool new characters. That's just not the case for Scream 2. But I still think that Scream 2 is a pretty solid sequel. It still maintains its bloody kills in its discussion on horror films and a new setting for Sidney in college. And we have a character that's trying to redo some kills from the first film, and there is a lot of surprises with this film, where one of our killers is Mrs. Loomis. I really did not see that coming because of how the character was introduced. She was introduced as like a reporter and trying to get to know Gale Weathers a little more. And when it's revealed that it is Mrs. Loomis, it was a big surprise. So there are some moments in here that I do find to be shocking and really catch me off guard, and it's some of the reveals for the characters. And what I love about the Scream franchise is the whodunit aspect to it. You can take your main characters and have them in every single film, but introduce a new killer every single time. And it's surprising. It's not going to be like the same killer every single time. It's going to be someone new. And that's what draws you to these Scream films, is the chance to see a new killer. And going into Scream 2, I was wondering, who's the killer going to be? And I'm sure people who saw it in theaters were thinking of the same thing. Who's going to be the new killer in this film? I want to see this movie. Tell me! The acting in here is really good. We see some dramatic scenes from Sidney as she's dealing with what happened in the first film. Her running into Cotton Weary and Gale Weathers, Courteney Cox, and David Arquette. They still work really well together, and the relationship is starting to grow within here. We see a lot of, some funny moments from Jamie Kennedy in the film as he talks about movies and now sequels and what is the best sequel and arguing about which one is the best. But once his character is killed, it's sad, because I really like Jamie Kennedy in here. And it's sad to see his character go. How important the discussion of film was in the Scream films. I feel like it has never been the same, even with the characters in Scream 4 having the film club. Randy always did it the best. At times, the kills, although bloody, do feel repetitive. Just stabbing someone in the back or the stomach and throwing people off of a balcony, whatever. It does feel repetitive in terms of its kills. It worked in that first film because it was all new to us for the Scream franchise. But when it comes to the kills in here, it just seems like it's doing the same thing again and again. For a film that was rushed into production, Wes Craven and Kevin Williamson managed to bring a fun sequel forth with new characters that aren't likable that much, but the original characters had a lot to do. The setting really worked and caused a lot of panic around this school. There were surprises and twists I just did not see coming. That whodunit style is working once again in the sequel. The opening isn't the strongest opening in the franchise with Jada Pinkett Smith in here. I do love that commentary on the Stab franchise, and we now seeing it kind of start in the second film and how Hollywood is making a film based on the events in the first film. Now it's called Stab. So it was fun to see all of that in the movie theater and how everybody was just so excited to see the Stab films. It would be fun to have that kind of movie theater experience similar to Stab, besides obviously the stabbings within it. But it's not the best one, but I do like that. I do like how it started the discussion of the Stab films and how they were discussed a lot and played important parts in the film moving forward. So Scream 2, not the best film in the franchise, but still a solid sequel when you look at how quickly it was started in production and released after that first film. The characters and their trauma, and looking at Cotton Weary and that movement from that first film to the second film, is very strong. The new characters aren't as likable as the original characters. There are some repetitive moments, some pacing issues within the film, some humor that feels like it's missing the second half of the film, but still a solid sequel with surprises and some pretty gruesome kills. Even if it's like the same thing over again, people just stabbing each other, I still think it's a lot of fun. So before I give you my score for Scream 2, make sure to check out my channel. Here I do movie reviews, trailer reactions, ranking videos, tier lists, all that fun movie related content that you see on YouTube. I do it all here, so hit that subscribe button to get it all in one spot. I'm going to go ahead and give Scream 2 a B. Thank you guys for checking my review for Scream 2 leading up to the 6th film. Are you guys excited to see it? Let me know in the comment section down below, and stay tuned for more up and coming content like this. My name is Just Watches Movies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.